Hey guys, Kevin here. Let's have a look at arrays. What an array basically is that when you have variables of the same type, alright, you have integers, let's say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, alright. You have this group of integers. Now, if you want to refer to them with a common name, you can group them together in what's called an array, alright. And they are elements stored in continuous memory location, alright. And there are multiple types of arrays. There are 1D arrays, 2D arrays, 3D arrays, and multiple or different else arrays like of different dimensions. So we're going to be having a look at both 1D arrays and multiple dimension arrays. So let's have a look at 1D arrays. So over here, what you do is you simply store the variables in a linear form. So assume a train, all right. So train, in the train you have the engine and just exclude it, and then you have the boxes, all right, the containers in the train, and then imagine that each box has a integer stored in it, all right. So that's a linear form of array, and each one of them gets an index value. Let me just illustrate this for you so that it gets better. So let's assume that this is your entire train, all right. And there, let's create, oh my, all right. So this is your array, all right. And here you can let's say it's an array of an integer, all right, of integers. And so you can store 1, 3, 7, 11, 13, 15, 21, all right, different numbers, all you can store them together. So that's an array, all right. And then there are multiple dimensional arrays, all right. Over there, let's have a look at 2D arrays, all right. 2D arrays. So what's that is that you just simply copy this, all right, control C, control V, and then you paste it you take another column, another row, and this is your 2D array, all right. So you can store other integers as well, all right. And what happens is each one of them, each one of this box, you can give a reference to it. So like if you say that add the value stored in box number 3 and in the value stored in box number 5, right. So how you can do that is there is a thing called, in programming you always count from 0, all right. So this will be your 0th element, this will be your first element, this will be your second, this will be your third, this will be your fourth, this will be your fifth, this will be your sixth element. For 2D arrays, similarly, you have, this will be called, this will have, now what will happen is, see, I'll explain it to you. You will have 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3, and then 1 comma 0, 1 2 comma 0, 3 comma 0, like that. So that's how a multiple dimensional array works, or 2D array works, all right. So you have this will be 0 comma 0, this will be 0 comma 1, this will be 0 comma 1, this will be 0, oh my bad, this will be 1 comma 0, 2 comma 0, 3 comma 0, and so on, all right. And then this will always be 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, 4 comma 1, all right. You get it, it's like graphs, all right. And if you had let's say if you had another box over here, right, another box, so in that the containers would be called 0 comma 2, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 2, and so on, all right. You get it. So that's how a 2D array works. Now what a 3D array is, that it's these arrays stacked upon each other. So you have a 2D array over here, all right. So there's this grid, there is another grid, and then you stack it over here. So what happens is, this is a 3D array of, let's say we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 by 3, all right. So you have a 6 by 3, and then you have two of 6 by 3s, so you'll call this 6 3 2. So that's the dimensions of the 3D array, all right. 6 3 2. Further you can go in 4D 5D, but it's difficult to imagine it because it's we know in 3D, all right. So that's 3D for you. Two 2D arrays stacked upon each other. So now let's have a look at how we can code these, alright. So let's head on to VS Code, alright. and let's create a new file, arrays.cpp, right? And let's just copy this basic code. Yeah, let's remove this. Okay, so if I were to write this int x, alright, what this would do is it would declare an integer x, alright. You already learned this, a variable with the data type integer x. Now if you wanted to create an array, what you would do is you would write this, right? Array, so whatever name you want to give it, and then you put rectangular braces and brackets, and then you write the size. So let's say I want an array which can store 7 elements, alright. This is it. This is how you can declare it. Now if you want to give it the value, give the values, yeah, like if you don't want to ask the user to give in the values, the first and the basic method is you write the value of it, and then let's just the computer says this to us, let's just do this, right? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So what's this? This is 3 4 5 6. This is 7 elements stored inside an array of size 7, right? And that's how you can declare it. Another method to do this is that you don't write. Now in some cases you don't want to calculate the how much value, you don't want to limit it, all right. So what you do is you remove the size factor and you just keep the elements. Now I can put 7, I can put 8, I can put 9, I can put 10, what, how many I want, I can put them, all right. And how you can give an output for this is you can write cout statement as we did, and then you can write array, right? Initially we used to write cout x, all right. Here what we can do is now each element is now called array with its index, all right. So let's just remove this 0 so that we don't have any confusion. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, all right. And as I told you, counting in arrays always starts from 0. So the 0th element is 1, the first element is 2. So like the element with the index value 0 is 1, the element with the index value 1 is 2, alright. The element with the index value 3 is 3, 2 is 3, alright. With 3 4, alright. So and if these were random values like 7, like 6, 9, right, 10. So the element at the index value of 3 is 9, index value of 2 is 6, just remember that. So if we wanted to print let's say the 8, all right. So what's 8? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. It's the element at the index value 7. So let's write 7 over here and let's put a semicolon. Let's save this and let's run this. Alright, we have got the answer as 8, which was what we were aiming for, right? This is the what I called peasant method, right? It's like but what if you want to ask the user for the value for the array, alright? So what you can do is let's just okay, let's scrap this. Let's declare a variable n, alright? Now n will be the size of the array, alright? And let's ask the user that enter the size of the array, alright. So they'll be like cin of n, alright. We've got the value of n. Now let's declare int ar, short for array, and then n, right? We know the value of n, array has been declared with n. Now what we can do is now we'll go back to loops, alright. So let's just give a cout statement that enter the elements of the array, right? And let's make a loop, a for loop, right? For int I equals 0, I should be less than n. What this will do is I started from 0, let's say n is 3, 0 1 2 3 elements, all right. And then I plus plus, all right. And then let's write cin air with rectangular brackets and I. What this did is that we asked them to start entering the elements. So what happened was, int I equals to 0, i's value is 0, alright. Is 0 less than, let's assume n is 3, alright. Is 0 less than 3? Yes it is. Alright, let's execute this statement. See, in air 0, so that is the 0th element, or the first 0th element of the array, the first element of the array with the index 0. So with the index 0, let's take the input for it, and alright, we took the input. Then let's move ahead. I equals to 1. Is I equals to 1 less than 3? Yes it is. Let's take the input for the element at the index position 1, and so on. Alright, now we took the input for it. Now let's see how we can output it, alright, how we can print it. So let's put a cout statement. Here is the array entered, alright, and let's put a /n, right. And how do we want it? Do we want it like this? Yeah, we'll have it like so. Let's not put a /n, let's put brackets over here, alright. And then let's make a for loop for int. Now you can again do I equals to 0, right, but just that it won't make a difference, but just because you don't get confused, j equals to 0, right. Put a semicolon. J should be less than n again, and j plus plus. Fair enough. Now let's enter and see out. You might have guessed it, air with a square bracket and j. We are done. Alright, and yeah, for the detail, we'll add text like this, that we had put a bracket, so we got our first element. Let's put a comma, let's put a space, and then we'll have our second element. Then we'll put a comma, then we'll put a space, then we'll have a third element. Alright, and then at the end, what we can do is see out. Yep, this should do it. Oh yeah, we can do a smarter thing. We can put this ahead of this. All right, Control X, Control V. All right, yeah. And for the first, so this will start printing j equals to, from j equals to 1, and then here we can even put it array j equals, right, okay, array and 0, right. And yep, here we have it. Let's save it, and okay, semicolon, let's save it and let's run it, right. Enter the size of the array, let's say 6 elements. Enter the elements of the array: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Here is the array entered: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Now let me explain the code to you again. Okay, computer starts reading from int main, alright, integer n. Alright, I have created a space n. Let's ask the user to enter the size of the array. Let's take the input for the size of the array. N was in our case 6, alright. Okay, n equals to 6. Let's move ahead. Let me create an array which can store 6 elements in it, alright. Now let's ask the user to give the input for the array. So we created a for loop. All right, computer went, okay, let's create a integer I which has the value 0. Let's okay, I equals to 0 has been declared, right. Is 0 less than 6? Yes it is. Let's run this code. So let's take input for the 0th element, or let's take the input for the element which has the index value of 0. Let's move ahead. Let's increment the value of 0, the value of I. So from 0 it becomes 1. Is 1 less than 6? Yes it is. Array with the index 1, element with the index 1. Let's take the input for it. Let's move ahead. I's value is 2. Is 2 less than 6? Yes it is. So and on and on. Alright. Okay. We have got the input for the entire array. The value of I has become 5. Alright. Now when the value of, we took the input for the element at the index 5. I equals to 6. 6 is less than 6. No, that isn't fulfilled. Let's move ahead. let's give the output. All right, and then what we did was we did this smartly. All right, we wanted to make it a bit beautiful over here, a bit, so that it looks good to the eye. So what we did was we pre-inputted array of 0, like the element at the index 0, and then we put a comma and space before each element. So j started from 1, so array of 1, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, and then it ended. Right, and then we put a cout statement for this. So that's how the code works, and you can create a 1D arrays like this. Now let's have a look at 2D arrays. All right, so 2D underscore array with cpp. Let's just copy this code. Yeah. Now we'll declare n and m. All right, two integers. We put a curly bracket, or else it keeps throwing errors. Enter the number of columns, right? Number of columns of the array, and number of rows. So enter the number of rows of the array. All right, so before we do this, let me just tell you the basic format, basic syntax for this 2D array. So what you do is you put two rectangular brackets, all right, and obviously we'll give it the name array, right? And we'll call it, we'll make it a 4x2 array. 4x2, yeah, 4x2 seems fair enough. What it does is 4 blocks and then 2, so it's a 4x2 grid, alright, 8 elements in total, and then you equate it with 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take it till 8. Alright, computer is smart enough. What this did was it went how we go in matrices. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So 1, first block, what's the value? 1. Second block, what's the value? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All values are assigned. Alright, so that's how you declare arrays. Now let's do it the smart way. Alright, the way we did 1D arrays. So we took the input for number of columns, number of rows. So this will be n and this will be m. Alright, let's remove this. Alright, so our array has been declared. Now what we'll do is, this is a very important concept and a very fun concept. This is called loop inside a loop, right? Dormammu, I have come to bargain, if you get it. So what you do is you make a for loop. You put int I equals 0, all right, and I should be less than n, all right, and I plus plus, right, obviously, and then what we do is we put another for loop in this. So for int j equals to 0. Now in this case you can't use I equals to 0 again, because this is I equals to 0 is valid from the time this brace starts till the time this brace ends. So over here you can't repeat I equals to 0. So we'll use another variable j, and then j should be less than m, alright, and then j plus plus, alright, and then again curly brackets. Now what you will do here is that you will write cin array. What will happen is I will remain constant, and then you will have j. What this did was, what we just did was that, let's go ahead. Why is this showing an error? Oh yeah, silly mistake. My bad. Alright, so what happens over here is that computer starts from here, integer I equals to 0, I is less than n. Alright, let's say n was 4. So I is less than 4, yes it is. Let's come to the next loop. Let's create a new variable j. The value is 0. What is the value of m? M's value was 2, right? 4 and 2. We did it in the previous example. So is 0 less than 2? Yes it is. Let's move on. Let's take the input for the array from I. So I is 0, 0 comma 1, 0 comma 0, alright, 0 comma 0, because the value of 0 I is 0 and then j is 1, so j is also 0, so 0 comma 0 was taken, loop ended, went back, j's value was increased to 1, alright. Is 1 less than 2? Yes it is. Array 0 comma 1, input was taken, finished. What happened was, now j's value became 2, 2 is not less than 2 obviously, so this loop ended, it came back, i's value became 1, alright, j's value was 0 again, 1 comma 0 was taken, 1 comma 1 was taken, alright, you get it. And let's write cout enter, do you want to do this smartly? Let's do this smartly, alright. So let's remove this, let's forget about this, and let's write enter the, right, wait for it, let's put a space, let's put this, let's do enter the I, right, and then we'll put a comma and a space, so brackets, comma and a space, right, and then j, alright, and then we'll close the bracket, and then we'll put element, right, a space over here, let's put a slash n, right, enter the ith I comma j element, right, we'll enter it, we'll take the input for I comma j, yeah, fair enough, and let's copy paste it again for the output loop. So let's paste this here, right, doesn't matter, what you do is the let's put an n, the I comma j element, yeah. So what we'll do here is that we want to print it, that a curly brace will be there, we'll print the first row, then I'll put a enter, we'll print the second row, alright. So how we'll do that is, let's assume that we want j, the value of j to be constant and the value of I to increase. So let's just replace this with j over here, no, let's do something better, let's replace m and n over here, and over here what will happen is that I will be j and this will be, we had n as the number of rows, right, so we want 1 comma 0, no, 0 comma 0, 1 comma 0, 2 comma 0, 3 comma 0, 4 comma 0, alright. We'll do that, n was the thing which was greater, right, so j and I, yeah, makes sense, yeah, perfect, fine. And once that element was, and once that got entered, so we'll put this cout, just copy this, let's copy it, control, yeah, we'll see, let's put it here, alright, and then we'll put this element and then a comma, yeah, again let's do what we did last time, so let's put a comma and a space over here, let's increase this to 1, let's put array and I, and then a 0 by default. Hey guys, Kevin from the future here, and I see I have made a mistake over here. I have written I and a 0. Actually it should be 0 and a I, which would do the exact work that we wanted it to be. We wanted it to be the 0th column and the row according to the loop, according to the first loop, and we failed at doing that, so it should be 0 and I, not I and 0 as we did over here. That was incorrect. Let's move on. Inverted commas over here, and then at the end we'll put a cout for Yeah, seems fair. Seems good. Right, and then it repeats. Let's what's the error? Yeah, semicolon. Let's save this. Let's save this and let's move on. Let's run it. Right. Enter the number of the columns. Let's say we want a 4 by 3. Right. 4. Number of rows 3. Enter the 0, 0 element. Yeah, so what happened over here was uh, we got this. Yeah, one thing we forgot, we should put a slash n over here. 2 4 6 8 4 6 9 12 6 8 12 6 8 12 12. What happened was 2 4 6 8. All right, multiples of 2 2 4 6 8, multiples of 3 4 6 9 12. Might have made a mistake in giving the input for this, and then 6 8 12 12. All right, so that's how you can do 2D arrays. We just complicated it a little bit, but I hope you understand the concept. And let's move on. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more of such tutorials. Follow me on Twitter at the red Kevin P. Karia. If you have any queries, let me know them down in the comment section or on this email ID, that is ask.kevinpkaria@gmail.com.